Welcome back. In this tutorial we will study about topology. So what is the topology of a network? The topology of a network is the geometric representation of all the links and linking devices, which are also called nodes, to one another. So there are four basic topologies: mesh topology, star topology, bus topology, and ring topology. So first we will study about mesh topology. So what happens in mesh topology? In mesh topology, every device has a dedicated point-to-point link to every other device. As you can see here in this figure, that in mesh topology, every device has a dedicated point-to-point link to every other device. So what happens in mesh topology? For a network with n nodes, we need n into n minus 1 by 2 duplex mode links. And in mesh topology, for a network with n nodes, every device on the network must have n minus 1 input output ports to be connected to the other n minus 1 stations. So what are the advantages of mesh topology? So one of the advantages, if one link becomes unusable in a mesh topology, then it does not incapacitate the entire system, right? And second advantage is privacy or security. So what happens in mesh topology? Every message travels along the dedicated line. Therefore, only the intended receiver sees it, right? Third advantage is, in mesh topology, point-to-point link makes fault identification and fault isolation easy, right? Another advantage of mesh topology is that it eliminates traffic problems, right? What happens in mesh topology? In mesh topology, the use of dedicated links, right, makes that each connection will carry its own data load, right? Therefore, it eliminates the traffic problems which can occur when links must be shared by multiple devices, right? Now, what are the disadvantages of mesh topology? Actually, what happens, the disadvantages of mesh topology are related to the amount of cabling and the number of input output ports required. The hardware required to connect each link can be prohibitively expensive, right? And every device must be connected to every other device. Therefore, installation and reconnection are difficult. Now we will study about star topology. Now what happens in star topology? As you can see in this diagram, that in star topology, each device has a dedicated point-to-point link only to central controller, which is also called hub, right? So what happens in star topologies? Devices are not directly linked to one another. If one device wants to send data to another, then that device sends the data to the controller, which is also called hub, right? And then the hub relays the data to the other connected device, right? So what are the advantages of star topology? Now what happens in star topology? If one link fails, then only that link is affected, right? All other links remain active. So this is one of the advantage of star topology. Second is easy fault identification and isolation. And third advantage is it requires far less cable than a mesh topology, right? So in a star topology, less cable is required in comparison to mesh topology, right? In a star topology, less cable is required in comparison to mesh topology. And another advantage of star topology is that each device needs only one link and one input output port to connect it to any number of others, right? Now what is the disadvantage of star topology? The main disadvantage of a star topology is the dependency of the whole topology on one single point, that is called hub. So if hub goes down, the whole system is dead, right? Now we will study about bus topology. Now what happens in bus topology? In bus topology, one cable acts as a backbone to link all the devices in the network, as you can see here, right? So what happens in bus topology? Nodes are connected to the bus cable by drop line and tap. right? So what is this drop line? The drop line is a connection running between the device and the main cable, as you can see here in diagram, right? And what is the tap? The tap is a connector that either splices into the main cable or punctures the sheathing of the cable to create a contact with the metallic core, right? Now what are the advantages of bus topology? The main advantages of bus topology are that ease of installation, right? Another advantage is this bus uses less cabling than mesh or star topologies, right? So in this topology, less cable is required in comparison to mesh or star topologies. Now what are the disadvantages in bus topology? One of the disadvantages is that the signal reflection at the taps can cause degradation in quality. Another disadvantage is reconnection and fault isolation are difficult in bus topology. In bus topology, it is difficult to add new device. Another disadvantage is that a fault or a break in bus cable will stop all transmission. Now we will study about ring topology. What happens in ring topology? As you can see in this diagram, in ring topology, each device has a dedicated point-to-point connection with only the two devices on either side of it, right? So a signal is passed along the ring in one direction from device to device until it reaches the destination. Each device in a ring incorporates a repeater. When a device receives a signal which is intended for another device, then its repeater regenerates bits and passes them along, right? So in a ring topology, a break in a ring can disable the entire network, right? And a ring is relatively easy to install and reconfigure. Each device is linked to only its immediate neighbors. So to add or delete a device in ring topology requires changing only two connections, right? Now there is another topology which is called hybrid topology. Now we will study about hybrid topology. So what happens? A network can be hybrid. For example, as you can see in this diagram, we can have a main star topology, and with each branch connecting several devices in bus topology, right? So what happens, a network can be hybrid, right? As you can see in this example, you can see in this diagram that here we have a main star topology, and in this you can see each branch is connecting several stations in bus topology.